Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin. Today we're unboxing the HP NV13. So, I'm not quite as familiar with HP's NV lineup as I am with their Spectre and EliteBook lineups, because those are mainly the ones that HP sends out for review. And NV is something that's a little newer to me. So this is, it's the step below premium is what we're looking at. Okay? And you know, HP briefed me on the product today, which they brief me on the products when the news comes out, and then they do another briefing when they send one for review. So, you know, every company has their own way of kind of bringing you up to speed on the product that they're sending you. So that's HP's way. And as they're explaining the product, I got more and more excited about it because it seems really nice for something that's not a Spectre. You know, it starts at 2.59 pounds, okay, which is kind of wild. And it is, let's see, 14.7 millimeters thin. Now, that's kind of crazy, right? Just over 2.5 pounds is really light in a laptop. But this also, it includes a Core i7, and it also includes an NVIDIA GeForce MX 250. So not only is it thin and light, but there should be a lot of power under the hood here. So we're going to get this guy open. All right, and we'll just cut this open because they just sent it with just the label on the box. So some companies send, this will come in a bigger box, and that is not the case today. So I'm trying to get this open properly. Here we go. Okay, that's not... Okay, that was kind of weird. Just the packaging. This is the top layer, right? And I'm like, did they forget to put the laptop in here? Wait, it felt heavy enough that there should be a laptop in there. Luckily, good news, guys. There's a laptop in there. All right? It's strange packaging. I see a lot of packaging for laptops, and this is the first time I've seen something like that. I expected to see this on top, and I have a feeling that that's how I'm going to send it back, because I'm going to forget that it came in this kind of weird way. All right, so let's get the plastic off of this guy and see it. So it comes in two colors: pale gold and natural silver. And the one they sent me is natural silver. And you know, I when they told me that, I was hoping for pale gold, I'll be honest. And the reason for that is just because I'm not a big fan of silver laptops. They seem a little too common, you know, and I understand that they have to make them because people do want them. People do want, it's kind of like the status quo, you know, so it's all right. You know, let's see what we got in here. It should be a power adapter. This is a clamshell laptop, so don't expect pen support or anything like that. So there's no pen in this box, is what I'm saying. We have the HP power adapter. I'm guessing 65 watts. Yes, it is 65 watts. It's a barrel charger though, which is, I'm not a fan. You know, I'm not sure why they did this. I didn't ask, and I should have. And I'm going to get an answer on that, but I'm not a fan of barrel chargers of any kind. I'm not a fan of any kind of proprietary charging techniques. So, you know, obviously, what I'm trying to get at, what I really mean, is everything should charge with USB Type-C. The good news is you can charge with USB Type-C on here. They confirmed that you can use the barrel charger, you can use USB Type-C. The only thing is it comes with that barrel charger. So what I'm really trying to say is I wish they just didn't include that port and they just included a USB Type-C charger. I would think that would also be cheaper for HP just to ship that one part with all its devices and not have that kind of fragmentation there, but whatever, you know. So, oh, cool. Just look at the kind of back that it has here. All right, so we can take a closer look over here. You can see it does have that premium HP logo that we've seen on various devices. It's not on all HPs, so they also shipped me a Pavilion X360. I'm going to take a guess that it doesn't have this logo on the Pavilion. So you would see this on a Spectre. the other one I'm talking about is that round HP logo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google HP logo. You'll see. So it does have that premium logo. It has that premium look. And one thing that's cool is you can see that it has that angular design on the front, which makes it really easy to open. All right. And we're just going to pull this out of here. And there's a lot of design cues that are kind of similar to the Spectre lineup. And the Spectres that HP has sent me include the really just the 13-inch X360. I haven't been able to get my hands on any others. As much as I've wanted the 15-inch model, I have never been able to get my hands on one, even though they're so sexy and they have that prosumer level of power. But I digress. All right, so another thing we can see here is you look at the hinge. Okay, so the hinge actually props this up a little bit, and there's two reasons for that. One, it's meant to be more ergonomic for typing, so it puts the keyboard more on an angle. Another thing is that it's better for thermals, and that's actually really cool. And so now that there's room under here, air can get under there and it can obviously cool off the internals. So it's an innovative solution to having a very thin PC. Now, if you follow my reviews and you looked at my review for the Lenovo IdeaPad S940, I loved it, but it was so thin that it had a little bit of trouble with thermals, and it hurt the performance a little bit. So you had an i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, but it didn't have the same kind of power that you'd get from a full-size Ultrabook that had those specs. Now, this helping with those kinds of thermals, that should help with some of the problems with being so thin and light. So I'm really excited to check out the performance from this device, especially since it has that dedicated GPU inside that should be able to provide that much more power. And being so thin and light, it's really an interesting device to me. So I'm going to boot this up. We'll take a look at what else we have. So over on this side, we have a USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type-C port. And it's not Thunderbolt 3, sorry. And then a USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type-A port. And it has a drop-down or a drop-jaw hinge there. So another kind of innovation made based on it being so thin. They couldn't fit the regular USB Type-A port. We've got another one of those on this side. And we've got our barrel charging port, micro SD card slot. We also have a camera switch. Okay, so I don't know, it's weird that the sticker's there, but I guess that's there for people who don't know about it already. And we can look is that if we flip the switch, a little icon pops up on the screen, and it tells us that the camera is disconnected. And let's do that again. So yeah, it's actually a really neat feature. It's disconnecting the camera internally. So unfortunately, this does not actually have an IR camera on it, but it does have a webcam, obviously. And that webcam is at the top, which is nice. HP always puts the webcams at the top. And, they don't sacrifice on the bezel size or sacrifice that placement to make a smaller bezel. Now, we're looking at the device manager now, and you can see there's the camera. And if I flip this switch, right, there you go, it disappears. Because the camera is gone. It doesn't even know the camera's there. It's disconnected. And it's another innovative solution. I think HP is the only one that does it this way. For instance, Lenovo puts a little switch on top, okay? And that's just a physical blocker for the camera shutter and the IR camera. Now, if you had a Spectre that had an IR camera, it would disconnect both of them, obviously. Huawei actually does it another way. They put the camera way down here, and then it pops up in the keyboard. Obviously, this is terrible webcam placement. Makes it horrible to make a Skype call, so you don't want something like that. Lenovo's problem with the implementation, with it being up there, was that with the first generation, it kept them from putting an IR camera and a privacy guard in the same device. So HP's solution here is pretty innovative because it's all happening internally. There's no sacrifices being made to add such a feature. I'm a little disappointed that there's no IR camera on here though, but that's another story. We got a 4K display right here, which is beautiful. It does have touch. I just wanted to double check that. And touch is always nice, even on a clamshell, I think. And, it comes in two other display configurations, a low power full HD panel, and also full HD with SureView. SureView is HP's privacy display, and basically how that works is you would just press a button on the keyboard, and then someone looking over your shoulder won't be able to see what you're working on. So that's always a great feature. It should be coming to 4K displays soon, but there's no update on that. Okay. Aluminum keyboard deck here. B&O speakers, which are always nice. HP's partnership with B&O has really paid off. So this is as far back as the display goes. It doesn't have like a 180 degree hinge or anything, but yeah, that's about what you get, and that's really fine because you want it to prop up the screen like this. And if we look at the bottom, you can see there's room for that airflow down there. We do have speakers on the bottom. I just noticed. I'm not sure why. To be honest, it's one of those things. That's something that you'll often see on convertibles, and it makes a lot of sense because if you could fold the display back, because when you're using this as a clamshell, these speakers are firing up at you. If you're using it as a tablet on a convertible, they're firing away from you. So those bottom speakers would then be firing right at you. Doing it on a clamshell, and this is not the first time I've seen it. I have to do a little bit of research on why that would happen. Okay, so we also have a fingerprint sensor that's now underneath the keyboard rather than on the side of the PC. And that's your Windows Hello, since like I said, there is no facial recognition. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here. I'm really excited to try this. It's weird because it feels so premium. It's so light, it's so thin. It has all the features that I'd want from a really thin and light clamshell. It's it's got the thermals to make the best use of the i7 and the MX250. It's really portable, beautiful 4K display, and I sometimes forget that it's not a Spectre. It's not at the very top of the range. Like, this is like that first step below it, and because then I see things that are missing, like an IR camera or a Thunderbolt 3, and so or that it uses a barrel charger instead of USB Type-C. But all that stuff is kind of okay, right? We don't, without an IR camera, like, it's okay. I can type a pin because I'm only logging on once per usage. And I don't actually have a use for Thunderbolt 3, really. This seems to check all the right boxes, and I'm so pumped to be using this. It's got the Whiskey Lake i7, which is a 8565U. Jesus, I'm getting so confused. Even I am getting confused. I used to know all the numbers. Now I can't remember anything. MX250 GPU, like I said, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, and this guy costs $1159.99. So without ever actually using this in real life, I gotta say, why wouldn't you buy this thing? Like, if you're just doing your research on PCs, looking at spec sheets and prices, seems kind of perfect. Unless you're looking for a convertible. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to have a review on this in a few weeks. Stay tuned for that. I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.